What's up, guys? So welcome to Witches of the Moon. I'm your Wednesday host, and this week's topic is over divination. I'm not going to go too in-depth over this subject, as I have a video on my actual channel that talks about this, so I will link that in the description bar, and you're welcome to go and check that out if you want. So what I did was I'll tell you a little bit about how I perceive divination and what it means to me, and I will show you a few of the items that I have used and currently using in my divination practice, and then I'll give some examples of other ways that you can do divination in terms of what I don't have here, ways that I don't use it, practice divination. So, to get started, what is my divination? What is my definition of divination? To me, divination is a form of contacting a higher power and learning knowledge on your past, your present, and your future. Now, what do I mean by that? When I say contacting your higher power, I would be referring to your god or goddess, whichever you worship or practice with. I believe that you can use different gods and goddesses to gain different insight with your divination practices. Meaning, if I did a tarot reading with Isis, and then I did a similar tarot reading with, say, another god or goddess, say Bast, obviously they would be, to me, I think you would get a different response depending on the god that you're practicing with. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. That's how I see it. So what did I mean when I said your past, present, and your future? Well, your past meaning anything that has happened either in this lifetime or in a previous, in a past life. Have you ever sat down and, well, have you ever done something and then you sit down and you think, wow, why did I just do that? Or why did I just say that? That happens to me a lot, and I believe that when you have those moments, that it is something that has been within you that happened in a past life. I believe that when you die, you go to Summerland, and then you are reincarnated. I do believe in reincarnation, and I believe that whenever we leave this world and go into our next life, I believe that we take a little bit of us from our past life with us. So depending on how many past lives you believe you've had, I believe that, a little bit of your history in that time period will travel on with you throughout your whole journey every time that you are reborn. That's what I believe. So I believe that whenever you have that moment of, why did I just do that? And then you sit down and you think about it, and it's like, well, it might have happened in a previous life that you've known, that you've either done or said or experienced, and that part of your life is what has gone with you. That's what I believe. Now, when I say present, meaning something that's currently going on in your life, I believe that when you are getting a reading for a present question. I believe that the present answer for that question is very cryptic. You need to figure it out within yourself. Like if I was doing a reading for you, then it wouldn't make any sense to me, but it would make, obviously it would make all kinds of sense to you, but you would have to sit and think about it. It's not going to come popping straight into your head. Unless the intuitive is very much in tune with you. Now when it comes to future, I believe that could be something that is going to happen in your near future, or it could be something that could even happen in a next life. So that's my take on divination. I believe that it's a form of connecting and getting knowledge from your higher power and learning about yourself a little bit more from your past, because you can get past life readings. I've never actually had one done myself. I think they would be kind of interesting to have done to see where my background leads. But I've never actually had one done. I don't do readings really on myself, mainly because I guess I'm afraid to know what is going to happen. But it's funny because I don't mind getting these readings from somebody else. For instance, I actually did a reading about 2 weeks ago on an oracle deck that I'm getting ready to show you. And remember how I said I get kind of worried about things when well, I cleansed the deck, and the person that gave me this deck, I've already told them about this. I believe I have anyway. But I cleansed this deck, I consecrated the deck, I cleared the deck, and I did a past, present, and future reading. My husband was actually sitting here with me, and the future card for this deck that I'm getting ready to show you was pregnancy. Oh, Lord have mercy. That was not something I wanted to see. Not because I wouldn't love to have kids again, but just not right now. But like I said, with that being said, that could very well have been not for this lifetime. It could be for another lifetime. But still, just seeing the word pop up for future was like, no. So, to get into some of the things that I use myself. There are some of these that I haven't used in years. I keep them because I have used them and I'm connected to them. I just haven't used them in years. But then again, there are a couple of things that I use quite frequently. So, to get started, one of the first things that I want to show you was the oracle deck that I was just referring to about when I did that past, present, and future reading on myself. And the cards I used were these magical messages from the fairies. It's an oracle. They're oracle cards from Doreen Virtue. These I received from Sophia's Rose, Bobby, and I am in love with these things. Like I said, I don't do readings on myself, but I've done a few on my husband. I've done a few on some neighbors here in the area. I've done one on my mom, and they're pretty accurate. I clear them every time I use them, and I'm just really liking these. So I do recommend these if you like to work with fairies. This is an awesome oracle deck. I love it, love it, love it. Now, my tarot deck, I don't use all that often. And the box on it is kind of bad because I keep it in the box to keep them in good shape. But my cat, when she was a kitten, she got a hold of the corner. But this is my tarot deck. And like I said, I don't use this tarot deck very often. I probably haven't used it in 5 years. At least 5 years. I do get them out and, you know, play with them like I'm doing right now. But I've never actually worked with them. I'm not actually familiar with tarot. It's something that I would love to learn. It's kind of intimidating. To me, tarot is very intimidating. The other thing that I thought was very intimidating were runes, and I'm currently learning them, and they're not as bad as what I thought. So tarot might be the same way, but we'll just have to see. But this is my tarot deck, and the one that I use is from DJ Conway, and it's my Shapeshifter Tarot. I love this tarot deck. The graphics on it is amazing, and I'll show you some cards. But the Shapeshifter to me is everybody has an animal instinct in them. Every person is connected to an animal, and that's what the Shapeshifter Tarot deck is all about. Finding your inner... I want to say finding your inner animal, but there's another term for that. But right now I can't think of what it is. But here are some of the cards, and it looks like they've been flipped around. Okay. So I'll just run through these really quick, and I'll show you some cards here. Here's the Moon card. And that would be Wolf. Guys, I dropped one on the floor. I'm going to have to figure out what it is. The Sun. That's the one that fell out of my deck just now. Darkness. Fire Element of Swords. The Serpent. Fire Element of Swords, Merging. Balance. The Father. And I'll show one more. Let's not show that one. Warrior of Water. Water Element Cups. So I love the artwork on these cards. These were actually gifted to me by my father, believe it or not. Sorry, my stepfather. And I love them. So, I'll have to figure out what this card was all about. The Sun. Let's see, shall we? The Sun, the Sun, the Sun. Let's see, will it be in the S's or the T's? We'll see. The Sun, the Sun, the Sun. 13. I'm sorry guys, 19. So we'll just go this way. 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The Sun. Keywords: creativity, teamwork, and achievement. The shape-shifting griffin man stands at the patch of rocky ground woven in the roots of the tree of life, suspended in the air with golden sunbeams shooting out of all directions like bright fields of knowledge. A creature of enormous power, the griffin man looks part human, tamed, and portion lion, wild, and part magical winged beast, spirit allay. ally. Folklore says that the griffin builds its nest in the mountains and lines it with gold, symbolizing the combining energy of the earth and sky. The sun acts as a source of unlimited energy here on earth, while its true nature is that of a star. The sun embodies the collective intelligence of the universe and affects all of life on our planet. It makes things visible. The smiling shapeshifter holds the brilliant sun in its hand, symbolizing the partnership of nature, humankind, and the cosmos. He upholds the many diverse forms of knowledge embodied by the sun, representing perfect balance between the conscious and unconscious. His serpent tail represents the ancient truth. A lone seagull in flight is pictured in the foreground. Prophecy. So really quick. While helping you understand the balance of energy and successful combinations, the Sun card represents humankind's hand in creation, teamwork, and cooperation. This is a card of creativity and the eternal flame, indicating the burning inner fire of the creativity of mental prowess. Good relationships and energized partnerships, material happiness and attainment come with personal effort. Achievements in the field of study, especially those that bring the darkness to light, are favored. The Sun is a card of motivation and liberation, where you seek out your own enlightenment, finding your personal path of oneness. Cool beans. Okay. So, that is my tarot deck. And I've never actually seen anybody talk about this tarot deck on YouTube. So if you all want me to do an in-depth on my Shapeshifter Tarot, let me know down in the description bar. Another form of divination is runes. My runes are a work in progress, as I am in a group where we're studying runes. These are what my runes look like. They're just on little glass, I call them aquarium stones, but you can get them pretty much at any craft store. These I actually got from a Dollar Tree, and then I'm just, the gold paint that's on here is actually fingernail polish. That's the only thing I found that stood out good enough to mark on these. As I don't have a paint pen. But gold fingernail polish is working out great. I'm sorry. So that's what I've been doing. We're currently on week 6. That's why there's only 5 here. I'm actually doing them and making them as we go along. We are studying the Elder Futhark runes, and we're pulling 1 rune a week. This is the bag that I have them in. A dear friend of mine had given this to me in a swap. Actually, the same lady that gave me this also gave me these. So I love you, dear. You know who you are. But these are where I'm keeping my runes, and yeah. So that's runes. Another form of divination that I have used, I have not used these in quite some time, are witches' runes. They are different than the Elder Futhark. Witches' runes only consist of 8 stones. The symbols on these stones are different. I'll show you the paper that I have on these stones. If anybody, you know what, I won't say that. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But the witches' runes, like I said, are a little bit different. These are the symbols for the witches' runes. They're cast just like what you would cast these. Similar to that as if you would cast your runes, except depending on how you would cast your runes, you could either cast all 25 or you could just pull a single one and go from there. It just depends on your personal preference. The way I like to, the way I used to, like I said, I haven't done witches' runes in quite some time, but the way I like to use witches' runes is cast all 8 at once, And the ones that are face up are the ones that are the most important in my life at that time, or whoever I'm reading for. The ones that are face down are obviously not important at that time. So that is how I use witches' runes. You might not use them the same way, but that's normal. Not everybody does everything the same way. Last but not least is my favorite form of divination. And that would be using my spirit board. Now, this spirit board was made for me. And that is the only way I've ever used a spirit board, as if it has been either been made for me or by me. So for almost 15 years, I would draw out my spirit board whenever I would want to use this form of divination. I would draw it out on a piece of paper, and then do what I needed to do with it, and then I would pitch it. So that's how I would do it. Now that I have this board, I feel that I can connect a little bit better. I can get a deeper connection. This board has also brought me a little girl into my life. Not my daughter. There is a 10-year-old girl that is attached to this board. And I want to thank, what's his name? Ethan, I believe, for giving this information to Miss Sunshine Morning Rae, and it has helped me out a lot. She is starting to come around now and actually making herself known here in the house to my husband, actually. So she is happy here, and I just want to thank you, Trina, for giving me the insight to know what I needed to know at that time to contact her. Anyway, now there are a lot of people that instead of using a spirit board, they will use a Ouija board. I personally, unless it is made for me, just like this one, I will not use a Ouija board. I will not. I refuse to use one that you can buy in a department store. Mainly because they are mass produced, and I don't feel that the connection that a person would have with that board would really mean anything. That said, that is my opinion. I know plenty of witches that use Ouija boards and do just fine with them. But that is my opinion, and that is my preference. I choose not to use one unless it is made for me, similar to this one. Now, the lady that made this is working on a new design. And I'm not going to go into detail because I don't believe she's launched it yet. And I know it's not up on her Etsy. But oh my gosh. If you're in the market for a new board, whether it be spirit board or Ouija board, get in contact with Sunshine Morning Rae here on YouTube. She is amazing at what she does. As you can see, this is extremely high quality. It's thick. Okay, she even takes care of the back. She puts these little numbers on them. She stains the boards. The pictures come from, I believe, her own collection. She puts these little gems on them. She puts there's just so much detail put into this board. And then afterwards, she shellacks it like crazy, and it makes it all shiny. And it's just... They're amazing boards. You really need to go check her out. I will put her YouTube link down in the description bar, And I will also put her Etsy shop in the description bar. She is also a member here on she's also a host here on Witches of the Moon. You can catch her on Saturdays. So yeah, those are my forms of divination that I have used either currently or in the past. Now, that being said, other forms of divination that you can use, there are so many ways of divination that have happened for many, many, many years. Back in the ancient times, they actually used to use smoke to do their divination. Another form that is still well known today is reading tea leaves. Crystal ball. I actually have a crystal ball. I didn't bring it out. I don't use it all that much though, but I do have one. So crystal ball, tea leaves, dowsing rods are a form of divination to find minerals and like oil or water. So dowsing rods is dowsing rods are a form of divination. Just the other day I went and I googled divination, and I swear a list of like 100 different ways of divination came up, and these were ways of these are different ways that people have done divination over the years, and I'm talking about back in the 1600s even, just different ways that people did their divining back in the day. And it's just amazing to know that this is such a big topic, or divination is just so large that you really can't find, every person will have one way of using divination. Even if you're not a witch, or if you're not Wiccan, or if you're not pagan, everybody has the ability to be able to use this ability. And like I said, there are so many forms of it that even if none of these work for you, the spirit boards or the runes or tarot cards or crystal ball, if those don't work for you, I am sure there is something that will. So don't get discouraged. Just do your research and know that there is something out there that will work for you. So, I hope you enjoyed my little discussion on divination. Divination is a fun topic for me. I actually really enjoy talking about divination. So, I think I will let you go for now, and until next week, blessed be.